Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at our list of the 10 worst Game Boy Advance games. The GBA had so many stellar titles, but with every phenomenal game came about, roughly 20 god-awful ones. Do note that we are not including ports of older games, so don't expect to see Sonic the Hedgehog or Mortal Kombat Advance, as those deserve a list of their own. What was the worst Game Boy Advance game you played? Did it make the list? Let us know down in the comments. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Cartoon Network Speedway. Considering this was a game loaded with Cartoon Network characters, you would think a kart racer would be a shoo-in for success. Funny idea, right? Alas, Cartoon Network Speedway is one of the worst racing games you could possibly play on the GBA. Now, we could forgive the messy track designs that can be easily broken or even outright exploited, but why would anyone want to play a racing game that runs so unbearably slow? You want a good kart racer with cartoon characters? Just go play Nicktoons Racing instead. That game had an incredibly fun GBA port. This, on the other hand, it can put you to sleep. Kong, King of Atlantis. Can you believe this was based on the King Kong animated series? And can you believe it was big enough to warrant a video game? Yeah, and it is a complete waste of your time. Kong, King of Atlantis has absolutely nothing interesting in store for you. Avoid tentacles, jump over water, punch rocks like Chris Redfield, wait for the camera to scroll more before you can do any more gaming, punch more rocks, cyberlink with Kong, whatever that's supposed to mean, but okay. And all of this hypersonic explosive action can be experienced across 4 overly long levels. Pain. There is nothing but pain here. Medal of Honor Underground. For some reason, Medal of Honor could not catch a break even before Call of Duty came in and wiped the floor with it. So what hopes did it have on the GBA? Practically none. Medal of Honor Underground would dampen the experience on GBA simply by succumbing to the handheld's limitations. Ugly visuals are the least of your worries here, as the slow and clunky movement makes many of the other FPS games on GBA look like they were made by technical wizards. Remember, someone in a seat of power at EA saw the finished build of this and thought, yeah, that's totally fine to me, and they stamped it with a seal of approval. Someone's proud of this. I don't know who, but somebody is. Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu. Just before we started getting the awesome Dragon Ball games on our handhelds, Legacy of Goku 2, Advanced Adventure, Boo's Fury, you know the ones. We all know what the MVPs are. But before all that, we got this waste of space. Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu was the most horrendous way to make a Dragon Ball fighting game for the GBA. The AI is so stupid that you can easily spam a Kamehameha over and over again until you finally win. It is so broken and unbalanced that you can easily finish an arcade run in about 5 minutes. And no, the unlockable characters are not enough reason to keep playing. This game sucks, dude. Star Wars: Flight of the Falcon. As Star Wars fans, we have come to accept that Star Wars games in general can be hit or miss. Flight of the Falcon, though? Major miss. An on-rails Star Wars shooter could definitely work, but when under the technical limitations of the GBA, you're asking for poor reviews. The visuals can make it hard to tell what's just a star and what's an enemy, and by the time you realize it, they're gone. Gone. And would you just look at that frame rate? I mean, how did anybody think this was remotely playable? Come on. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Who had the bright idea of looking at E.T. for Atari and thinking, you know what? We can make a better. We have the technology. There is just something about E.T. and video games that just wreaks havoc on the world, and this second attempt certainly shows. The level design makes no sense whatsoever, and the screen is loaded with so many enemies at one time that they quickly become a nuisance. And if you think the sound is annoying to hear from today's systems, imagine how abysmal it was coming from the GBA's tiny speaker. Shrek Swamp Kart Speedway. Speaking of games with horrible audio, Shrek Swamp Kart Speedway was another monstrosity no kid should have ever had to suffer through. We pray that you got anything other than this. Shrek Swamp Kart Speedway has some of the ugliest visuals we have ever seen on the GBA, and the way the audio just constantly blares over itself throughout each race is enough to make us mute everything. Hey, at least it served as karma for your parents for buying you this over, say, Nicktoons Racing, Banjo Pilot, Mario Kart Super Circuit, or, you know, anything else. March of the Penguins. You know what a documentary about penguins needs? It needs a video game. To whatever marketing or licensing executive made this decision, we hope you're proud of yourself because you helped put out one of the worst GBA games ever made. March of the Penguins is a boring and clunky collection of minigames. One minute you're guiding them like the Lemmings, or at least a broken version of the Lemmings. The next you're running through a maze with basically nothing to do. In addition to the uninspiring gameplay, March of the Penguins can be pretty unfair in its difficulty. Look, edutainment can work in the realm of video games, and it can work really well. Jumpstart video games. But this was far from a decent example. Save us, Morgan Freeman! Spy Muppets, licensed to Croak. Now, here is where me, Ty, I have a personal vendetta here, because Spy Muppets had squandered some real potential, and it came from a studio that actually had some pedigree behind it. A Muppets game where everybody is taking on the role of a secret agent, hero, villain, or some other type casting. Like, that's an awesome idea. And it's made by Vicarious Visions? That's amazing! I am totally on board. This all sounds great up until you see that all the studio could deliver with this idea was a 30-minute package of 10 of the most mundane minigames you could possibly imagine. And you want to know what the crappy part about all this is? You're really playing 3 minigames 3 times each, once per boss. So what exactly did you pay for? Not much. and we expected better from a studio like Vicarious Visions, which was delivering some quality games even in the early 2000s. I did the long play for this. I was miserable. All that damn shovelware. You know exactly the type of games we're talking about. These are the games that were made to trick parents into slacking off on birthday and Christmas presents because, oh, little Billy and Sally, they like this, so they'll like a game about it. And so many of us were gifted titles like Britney's Dance Beat, Polly Pocket Super Splash Island, Jimmy Neutron, Bionicle Quest for Tao, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So much trash that we wound up leaving behind when bringing our GBAs to school. Games like these made some kids quit gaming decades ago, and there are still plenty of kids who have not come back since. To those of you who got nothing but these lazy titles for Christmas, for your birthday, for Easter, for whatever holiday you get gifts, I am so sorry. Please come back though. They can't hurt you anymore.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.